How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. And this week we are returning to our Fever Dreams concept. More on that in a second. As you see this, I am in yet another room, Leonard. And
I'm always in the same, although I do believe that the painting behind me is new.
Yes, that is a new addition. You have the same, a consistent background. I either need to purchase, the upgrade of Zoom and get my own backgrounds, or I need to get a consistent room because I'm moving all over the place. But
next time I want you on the roof.
That's a good idea. I could probably swing that. There's one roof we have that's kind of low and flat. So, and as you see this, also, I've just come back from vacation, and boy, I'll tell you, like when you get behind on wrestling, like right now, there's a lot to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
WWE has 3 shows per week. AEW now has 3 shows per week. Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown's 2, NXT is 1, I believe, still. AEW has 2 2-hour shows and 1 1-hour show. Like, it's a lot.
That's 11 hours.
Yeah, and it's
and even if you DVR them and you go through the commercials and maybe some slow spots,
right,
you're maybe shaving 2 if you're lucky.
Right, and I only bring it up because I'm curious as to what their watching habits are these days. Do you stick with one company? I kind of by default now I keep in touch with WWE, to the point where we sometimes talk about it on this show. I do not watch them weekly. I'll watch the AEW stuff weekly just because it fits my interest. But it's still it's a lot to keep up with.
As we talked about, I have not watched anything consistently since the pandemic. Right. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I do watch old shows. I love going on Peacock or YouTube and finding something old and random from the 80s or 90s and watching that. And I know we talked about this on, I think, our very first episode, the idea of there's retro gamers that I think we're going to see more retro wrestling fans. And also you have your gamers that are like, well, I like RPGs and that's what I play, or I like running guns and that's what I play. Same thing. I think you're going to go from people who I watch all wrestling to I only watch WWE or AEW or some other company,
right? Just
because there is so much out there. And even at the height of the Monday Night Wars, when it was, even if you're trying to watch ECW 2 at the same time, I mean, that probably was close to maybe 10 hours a week. But I don't think it felt like 10 hours a week.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was different time, obviously. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's there's quite a bit of content out there right now. But we will move on. And so this week, instead of our usual Fever Dream concept, we still have our set champions that we've accumulated over the many times we've done it. We'll get to one of those episodes soon, but we decided to do a special Fever Dreams we're calling Family Feud Fever Dreams, which was stemming from, I believe, a comment that Leonard made about his fantasy league based on the fact that I think he wanted to get the Guerreros matched up with the Funks or something along those lines, or the Von Erichs.
It was I wanted to do like a triple family feud of the Guerreros, the Von Erichs, also from Texas, and the Harts. So you have like Mexico, U.S., and Canada, and how you could that I could make that work if you have to take Brett first,
right?
You have to take Brett Eddie first, and it's really hard to get both those guys because they usually go in the first round. But if you can do that, then you can make that concept work. But as you said, that kind of stemmed to us thinking what a family feud league would look like. So this special card of ours is comprised of mostly real family relations. There are some fake family relations in there, which we'll get to if they come up.
Right.
And it's fathers and sons. There's brothers. There's husbands and wives. I think there might be some uncles and nephews in there. I know there's at least one adoptive daughter in here. There's, I think, a grandfather and a granddaughter in here.
There's cousins in here that I
not
had
sure what
no idea about.
I put, see, so Chad sent me a list, and I sent him a list back. And there were some, you missed some glaring ones. The guns weren't on there. You didn't have Hook and Taz on there.
That's true.
There were some glaring ones on there for me, at least. The Garvins. So, and I did put on a few obscure ones too. So,
well, but one of the cousins I didn't realize
I think this is going to be fun.
One of the cousins I didn't realize was Mike Awesome, being a cousin of Horace Hogan and therefore related to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I did not know that either. When you put that on the list, I thought it was some sort of like joke thing that they said at one point, and that you threw in there, that something about him being a cousin, because I almost threw Ric Flair, because initially you didn't have the Andersons on there, because that is a family tree that's very messed up.
Did I thought I did that one in the email, because there were so many different Andersons in wrestling history that it was tough to discern which ones were related for real, which ones were kayfabe related. So yeah, I just threw that one to you.
Yeah, so I put that together just for fun. You did say you didn't do the Andersons, but I was saying that, at one point Ric Flair was considered an Anderson cousin. He is not. And of course, Flair has his own family. Right. So I didn't combine the Andersons and the Flairs, but I could have.
Right. Well, so in case this is your first time watching Fever Dreams, the concept is simple. We have various lists of wrestling names, tag teams, in this case, trios, family names, singles, and we put them in random name generators, and we have assembled a makeshift card, and whatever names pop up in the set match we have ready, Leonard and I debate who we think would win. And as we just mentioned, in this case, it is all people that are or were in a family in professional wrestling, and there are some fake ones in there, and we'll see if those pop up. It'll be fun if they do. But that is what
I should say. We didn't even, and I want to say we didn't even explore the Mexican wrestling families that much, or the Japanese wrestling families.
Right.
These are mostly American wrestling families.
Yeah, there was quite a few, especially Hispanic families in there, but where the reason I'd left some of those out is because, whereas we might know who Psychosis is, the other names in that family, no, you won't know who those are unless you live in Mexico, and the information I could find out about said names is probably slim to none. So I left some of those out for that reason in Japan and Mexico. So anywho, if you think that there's a family we missed, let us know. But even if they're not, all the families are going to come up in this anyway. So we will see what comes up. Our first match is a triple threat trios ladder match. 3 versus 3 versus 3. I was trying to come up with a belt name, Leonard, like the generational trios family belt or something like that. I don't know. The name needs work, but there is a belt up there that the trios are competing for, and Leonard is going to draw the names here.
Yes, I already did that before we came on. Now, is it one belt, or shouldn't it be 3 belts for all 3 guys?
It should be 3 belts, yes.
Like when they do the tag belt, it's 2 belts. Anyway, so here's who we got here. This is interesting. We have High Chief Peter Maivia, his son-in-law Rocky Johnson, and his son Dwayne The Rock Johnson, versus the brother tandem of Bobby and Jackie Fulton and Bobby's son Jaron Fulton, who just debuted earlier this year, versus Bret and Owen Hart and their brother-in-law Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh wow, that's very interesting, and I think right away the thing that makes this match sway in one direction is the gimmick. for sure. Because had this been just a 3-on-3-on-3, I would have immediately gone with, the Rocks family. Because I think they would have had not only the experience factor, but just overall strength, ability. I probably would have gone with them. But the idea of High Chief Peter Maivia climbing a ladder, I just don't see that happening. But hey, you never know. Maybe there's a match he was in that I don't know about. So as a result, have to go, like, the odd ones out here are the Fultons, right? So I'd have to go with the Harts here. I think that not only do they have speed and quickness associated with this match, they have the power in what was it, Jim Neidhart, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the most well-balanced team, and it's also a team that has experience in ladder matches. With Brett and Owen. I believe Owen has done ladder matches. I know Brett has. I actually don't think the Fultons are too out of place here, because I think Bobby and Jaron could actually probably do okay in a ladder match. Like, if it was a ladder match, like, if you gave me all these and you say, hey, this is a ladder match, I probably would go with Baron and Bobby and Jaron versus Brett and Owen. Like, that would be who I would want. I think that's your best combination here. And I totally agree with you. The Rocks family, straight up, I would go with them. But this being a ladder match, I think all the advantages on the gimmick goes to the Hart family, and I would give this to the Hart family. I agree with you.
All right. Well, so the Hart family so far have one giant win here. So our next match is a singles match. It is a triple threat match, one-on-one, and boy, is this a doozy. So I'm drawing the names here, and this is where one of our fun names comes up. So Leonard, are you ready for this?
Ready. Hit me. I'm going to write them down so I don't forget it.
It is Dean Malenko versus Scott Steiner versus Jess McMahon.
So Jess McMahon is the grandfather of Vince McMahon Jr.,
right,
or Vincent Kennedy McMahon, right, who is and the father of Vincent J. McMahon, who was a promoter, and I don't think he ever worked.
No.
No. Okay, so he's your odd man out here. Scott Steiner, of course, his brother is Rick Steiner, and his nephew is Braun Breaker, wrestles now. And Dean Malenko had a brother, Joe Malenko, that wrestled, and they're the children of Boris Malenko. Man, if this is early career Scott Steiner versus like prime Dean Malenko, that's a heck of a match between the two of them. I'm trying to think how Jess McMahon factors in. Like, if one of these guys are going to get paid off by Jess McMahon, I think it's Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
So if Jess McMahon pays off Scott Steiner to like protect him in this match against Dean Malenko, and again, if this is a younger Scott with the mentality of an older Scott,
oh wow,
I go Scott Steiner.
You go Scott Steiner. I'd go Scott Steiner, maybe not for the reasons that you mentioned exactly, but overall power and wrestling ability, especially if you get like a mid-90s Scott Steiner who was really bulking up but still had that, kind of older school wrestling ability. Or he was Big Papa Pump. I mean, if you're getting that era of Scott Steiner, kind of the best of both worlds, I would say. I still think he would get just a leg up on Dean Malenko, just based on size, because the wrestling ability cancels itself out. I feel like so like then you're just going based on size, and Scott Steiner has that. But I do see the Jess McMahon, paying him to be like a bodyguard of sorts.
Sure.
All right, so Scott Steiner is our winner. And that means that our next match, the names will be pulled by Leonard. It is 2-on-2. It is a tornado tag. Leonard, who do you have?
Yeah. Very interesting. So first off, we have Jake Roberts and Sam Houston, who are brothers. And they are going against, as Chad put on the list, any Hart duo. So any two members of the Hart family. And I think this is my call since it's my draw.
Absolutely.
And since Brett, Owen, and Jim already worked, I don't think I can use them. And I don't want any of like the brother-in-laws or cousins of the Harts. I want actual Harts. And I think the two Hart brothers after Brett and Owen that had the best careers are Bruce and Keith, not counting Stu. So I'm going with Bruce and Keith Hart against Jake Roberts and Sam Houston.
You know, I would pay a good bit of money to get Jake Roberts and Sam Houston's opinion on what this match would look like. I think it would be hilarious just to see what they had to say.
We have contact with Sam Houston. I need to reach out to him again.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, just based on the Jake Roberts factor here, I think that he's the X factor, as he is the most talented of all these guys. And I think he's the guy that would make the difference in the match. Bruce and Keith were, significant stalwarts in Stampede Wrestling, obviously under Stu, their father. But they never really were able to do much outside of that, Survivor Series match. They appeared in. So I would have to go with Jake Roberts and Sam Houston here. And I feel like Jake Roberts and Sam Houston would be able to come up with a cool tag team name if they had to.
Yes. Something with snakes and, the cowboy gimmick in the West. I don't know. There's a snake in my boot. I don't know. But I agree with you. The only thing I can see is that Roberts would turn on his brother just because.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's the only thing I can see. And I do think that Bruce and Keith are a more natural tag team, but I totally agree with you. And Roberts being the most star power and probably the best skilled wrestler in here. I think this is actually a surprising match. I think this would be a hidden gem. I think this is a match a lot of people, if they would come to this show, would say, oh, I don't really care a lot about that, but then wind up like going, oh, that was pretty good. So I think this has opportunity to be good, but I definitely go with Roberts in Houston based on what you said. And the fact that it's a tornado tag too, I think maybe even favors the Roberts in Houston, because I think that the Harts would probably in a traditional tag match work that tagging in and out quick and those double team maneuvers better. Here, if Jake can isolate one of the Harts, that's going to be how they win here. So I go with them. I agree with you.
And you know what? I think even if they do win, I think Jake throws the snake on Sam Houston.
Yeah, he's going to, like, they're going to raise their arms in victory, and then he's going to like pull him into the DDT. And then
or maybe a big, like a cobra comes out of Sam's hat or something like that. Anyway, our next match is a Fatal 4-Way. So for our Fatal 4-Way, I can't think of more random guys, but we have Eric Angle versus Mike Rotunda versus the Honky Tonk Man versus Kevin Von Erich.
Oh, okay. So, of course, Kevin Von Erich is part of the Von Erich family. Several brothers wrestled and his dad. Honky Tonk Man is cousin to Jerry Lawler, and they famously don't get along. Mike Rotundo's sons are both Dallas and Bray Wyatt, and he married into the Wyndham family. He's married to Barry and Kendall's sister. And then Eric Angle is the brother of Kurt Angle, and has also wrestled, and occasionally they did the Twin Magic deal a couple times in WWE. Honky Tonk Man is the name that sticks out here to me because the other guys are more technical wrestlers. As a triple threat, I think this is really good. But with Honky Tonk Man, I think he's going to sandbag. I think he's going to hang back. He's not going to be involved a lot in the main match. Eric Angle is a pale copy of his brother, not nearly as good. Rotunda versus Von Erich. I don't know if that ever took place anywhere. That I think would be a really good match. I think as a straight up fatal four way, I think it comes down to Rotundo and Von Erich for me, and that's a coin toss. But I'm going to go with Rotundo, who I think has. Kevin was always very lanky, and I think Mike has a little bit more of a power advantage, and he also has that amateur background that I think could be helpful here. Kevin also used to wrestle barefoot, so I think Rotundo just jumps on his bare feet and tries to break his feet. So I like Rotundo here.
Yeah, I do think this comes down to Kevin Von Erich and Mike Rotundo. The Honky Tonk Man, I was never really big on him. In a different, like spot of booking, I could see him, winning in heel fashion, of some sort. But you know what? I like Rotunda as the winner here. I think that not only does he have the heel stuff, but he also has, a lot of wrestling ability and, kind of a good mix of speed and size for this match. But I think some of the combinations of the guys here would be interesting. I don't know. I think Eric Angle gets taken out with a guitar shot early on, and he's out.
Yeah.
The match. But
I would give you that one. Honky Tonk Man is not jobbing to Eric Angle, and the fact that, like, say, if the finish is Rotundo over Von Erich, then he's not jobbing anyway. So I think he'd be okay with that.
Absolutely. So Leonard, I believe we have our mixed tag match next.
Mixed tag match is next, because originally you had most of the women just serving as managers, but I pulled some more and I think put together enough that you could have a feud. I actually wound up putting together 15 different mixed tag teams. So we have more Von Erichs. We have Carrie and Lacey Von Erich, who are father and daughter. Okay. And they're going to be going against Butcher, Paul Vachon, and Luna Vachon. Luna is Paul's adoptive daughter. Originally, I had Mad Dog, but I double-checked, and it's actually Butcher who is her adopted dad. So I switched that out. So we have Carrie and Lacey versus Butcher and Luna.
Wow. Well, I think that this is an interesting pairing here. But it's kind of hard not to go with the Vachons in this case. Luna, I think, just has a little bit better of an edge, maybe, against somebody like Lacey Von Erich. I think the Carrie Butcher matchup is a weird mix of styles, but I think just in sheer aggression and the need to win, I'd have to go with the Vachons here. I think that Luna has her way with Lacey Von Erich, and I think that's the difference. Maybe Butcher takes out Carrie in some way. Maybe he exposes the fact that he doesn't have a foot or something.
takes off his boot. Well, Mad Dog didn't have a foot either.
Oh, okay. That's
too bad it's not Mad Dog. Oh, too bad it's not Mad Dog. And you had two guys with prosthetic legs. Maybe that's it. Maybe Mad Dog's managing, and him and Carrie take off their boots and start smacking each other with their prosthetic legs.
Yeah.
That's what they're fighting on the outside. But no, I agree with you. This comes down to Luna versus Lacey. And Luna is super underrated. I think she's one of those ladies from the past you could bring to today, and she could work. She could be part of the WWE Women's Division today and have something. Lacey, of course, was an Impact for a while. Beautiful girl. And I think she does okay as a valet, but was never that great in the ring. So that's really the X factor there. As you said, Butcher and Carrie is a bit of a styles clash, but I think they could probably put something together. But the finish is definitely Luna taking out Lacey.
All right. Well, we agree there. So that means that our main event is, I believe, our triple cage match, right, Leonard?
Yeah, so this is the WCW Ready to Rumble Triple Cage.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go with that one. And the winner has to reach the ultimate family trophy at the top. So somehow they got to get up there. And this is just two families. This is a 4-on-4 situation. Leonard has drawn one of the family names. I've drawn one of the family names.
Yes.
And Leonard, who have you drawn?
Well, interesting enough, we have a lot of repeats. So this is the Wyndham Rotundo family. So as mentioned, Blackjack Mulligan has two sons, Barry Wyndham, Kendall Wyndham. Their sister married Mike Rotundo. Rotundo and Barry were a tag team at one point. And then Mike has two sons, Bo and Bray. Now, since Mike has already worked, we're not going to use Mike Rotundo for this. So I would say the top four of the family is probably Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Wyndham, Bo Dallas, and Bray Wyatt. And Kendall can have a seat.
Okay. Well, they are going to be facing the Andersons. So this is our family that's not really a family, but
some are and some aren't. Most aren't.
We're going to go with it anyway. So that team is they're going to be facing Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Gene Anderson, and how about Brock Anderson?
Okay, so Arn and Brock are father-son. Gene is a real brother to another Anderson whose name escapes me, but it's not Ole. And Ole is not related to Arn, although the kayfabe was that they were. I think Ole and Gene were supposed to be brothers, and Arn I think was a nephew. Or he might have got retconned into being a brother at some point because he was younger than Ole and Gene. So, oh man, that is interesting. The fact that we're doing cage climbing. You know who I think gets to the top the fastest is Bo Dallas.
Well, or the argument could be made that he gets eliminated first.
Yes, he is the lightest and quickest, but he's also probably the weakest of all of these people.
You know what match I would love to see? Just in this especially, but even in a singles, I think there could be a really good program between like a Bray Wyatt and an Arn Anderson. I think that could work. Or you could be Bray Wyatt and Ole Anderson. Ole famously did like the voices of the Black Scorpion and all that really crazy.
Yes, and the Shockmaster.
Yeah.
So I think Bray could do one of those like John Cena cinematic matches and just mind screw him. that would be fun.
This is a tough one though.
This is tough because I don't think either one of these families are necessarily ones that I would say are going to be cage climbers. Now Barry back in the day, I would give you. And of everyone here, I would say Barry and Arn are the best workers.
Yeah.
Brock's a young gun. Brock could probably, and I could see maybe if you're booking this, Brock could win because he's the young gun you want to put over.
Okay.
Maybe. I am really at a loss.
Do you want there to be a run-in?
I don't know. It's a cage. Well, hey, when they did it with Hogan and Savage, Beefcake come out with frying pans and hand them frying pans. Go ahead, generate a run-in, and the run-in person has frying pans.
It would be a run-in family.
A run-in family. So the family is going to come in with frying pans. And based on the family, we'll figure out who they would help over the other family.
It would be the Colognes.
The Colognes. See, I don't think the Colognes would have, ties to anyone. I don't think they would care.
No, but they might come in with something a little bit more aggressive than frying pans.
That is true. They're
from
Puerto Rico. Yeah, they're from Puerto Rico. Oh man, this is such a coin toss. Are you leaning either way?
Yeah, I think based on the fact that you have Bray Wyatt and not Kendall, and Barry Windham, I might give a slight edge there.
Okay.
Arn is pretty much a good matchup with anyone. Ole depends on what era of Ole.
Yeah. If it's earlier, if it's 70s Ole, yeah.
So I might give an edge here to the Wyndham Rotunda faction.
I was leaning that way. I think if it was Mike instead of Bo, I would be stronger to the Wyndham Rotunda family. But yeah, I that's how I was slightly leaning. And I think if you start matching everybody off how they fit best, I think Bray is over Brock. I think I don't know. Gene probably beats Bo Dallas. But Blackjack Mulligan's probably over Ole, and Arn and Barry's tight. So I will go with the Wyndhams as well. But this is both of us just slightly, I think, leaning that direction.
And that means that, Rotunda already won a match. So that means that the Wyndham Rotunda family is for our ultimate family.
Yeah. It's a good mix because it's cross-generational and it's also like two different pockets of family people. And there's some families that did not pop up. The Harts popped up multiple times, and the Von Erichs did. But we didn't get to the Flairs. We didn't have. This blows my mind. We had no Samoans. If you don't count the Rocks family, right, which is a kind of a different tree.
Yeah.
Or a different branch of the tree. We didn't have any of the Anoy family. We didn't have anybody from them. There's like 87 people in that family.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I did not know that Rowdy Piper was related to the Harts.
I thought that was a kayfabe, but that he was a cousin.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe it is, but his name didn't come up anyway. So
yes, I had heard that, but I was never sure if that was a real thing or a kayfabe thing.
We'll have to do our.
He is Canadian. They are Canadian, but not all Canadians are necessarily related to each other.
That is our fact for the day.
Yes.
So, all right. So we should definitely do this again. It was fun, for sure.
We have plenty of names, plenty of families that didn't come up. So
that's right. So let us know who you think would win some of these matches. And obviously we didn't name every family, but if there's like a family that you don't think we know about that we should insert into our lists, let us know. I would love to hear it. Like I said, I might update these lists as we go along because there are plenty of Hispanic and Asian family trees that Leonard and I weren't as familiar with. So
yeah. Oh, speaking of Guerreros, none of the Guerreros popped up. There's a bunch of them, and we didn't get to any of them. So yeah, there's a lot of people who wasn't part of this. I think it's actually odd how we had several repeat family members.
Yeah, and the tag teams really could be weird too because like you could have like known tag teams, and then you could have like I put in there like any Guerrero duo, so that you could have like two very random people in a family tag team up with each other depending on how Leonard and I feel.
Yes, how varied the family is.
Absolutely. So yes, let us know what you thought of this Fever Dreams, and check out our other episodes: Segment Surgery, Random Match Reviews, Stupid Questions, What's That Card? And I think we are also available wherever you find podcasts. And hit the like button on our YouTube video. Subscribe to our content. For Leonard, my name is Chad. We will see you next week. And Alexa, we'll see you out.